Oh, hello.
Hello.
What up?
Oh, hello. Hello, great gentlemen. Hello.
Let me move.
Whoa.
So, there we go. All right. You were frozen for a second, Sal.
I figured because you came up like all dubstepping.
It was on you because Ginger was still moving normally. So, I was gonna
With
say
what it looks like it's a fucking... My camera's fucking dirty as fuck.
it clearly looks like you are. I'm looking through the back seat of a dirty window.
Yeah, like there's jizz all over it or something.
Well, aim better
Jeez.
next time.
Dude, it's impossible to aim your jizz.
Uh,
Well, I mean, you can get a general. But you're not
Yeah.
oops.
beepity beep boop.
I was trying to do this. No. There we go. Okay.
All right, so it turns out that growth isn't anything to worry about.
Oh, that's good.
Where's our comments?
Wait, we're not on YouTube yet, right?
We are.
Ah, fuck.
Oh,
Comments aren't showing up though. What the hell?
It's a tube of views.
Oh, shit. What the fuck?
what the fuck, man?
Oh, that's why.
All right, chat room is popped out.
There we go. Okay. All right. Continue to talk. I gotta
Okay.
do something here real quickly.
All right.
I mean, if you're jerking off, it won't take very long. So.
Question for you, gentlemen.
Yes.
If you ran
Little bit
a wrestling...
Oh, sorry.
Greenie probably will know why I'm asking this question, but if you're running an indie company, your ring is basically falling apart. Do you A, buy a bunch of random stuff for the company, or buy a new ring?
Buy a new fucking ring.
Are you talking about Derek's ring?
Yes.
Uh.
Mine and Derek's, yes.
Well, if you're setting it up for rentals, buy a new one because you're going to make the money back eventually.
Yes. Because, yeah.
What's falling apart on the ring? Oh, the boards?
Oh, no. Board's replaceable, no problem. It's the fucking steel. It's literally... The ribs are like this now. And
well, all those times you guys set it up on the fucking concrete and asphalt and shit, that probably doesn't help.
Well, no, it all fucking started when I originally started training with Derek. We were in a weld shop, and the floor was so uneven, but he had nowhere else to set it up and train, so we just said, fuck it, and that's when it all started.
Well, I saw the pictures from Haverhill. It was like mats stacked up this high to keep it level on one side. And it's like, that can't be good for it.
Well, that's not awful, because it's keeping at least the main supports even. Because, I mean, you don't want to be running uphill in a wrestling ring. But, yeah, just... Yeah. I won't get too far into it, but... Yeah.
Well, Troy's still jerking off, so you get time.
This, Greenie, you're the first person that I'm telling, by the way. This will be my last APW show on Saturday.
Really?
Yeah. I gotta go to work weekend shifts because we don't have a babysitter for the week. and it's like $500 for both of them, and that's what my check is weekly. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So yeah, sucks, but it'll be good to completely get away and just not deal with it. Because like I'm leaving chats, I'm leaving all of it.
Yeah.
For at least fucking a few months. I'm gonna probably like unfollow pages and everything like that. Just need a good break away.
Yeah. I did my hiatus for like 5 years, 6 years, something like that.
Yeah.
But that was because I had to deal with Rumble a lot.
Yeah, you got a little bit of a tough situation with him, but me and Mike are.
I love him. He's just sometimes hard to work with.
Oh yeah, everybody do
sometimes
that.
he's great to work with. Sometimes he's hard.
Me and Mike keep butting heads on shit, and I'm just like.
Everyone butts heads on Mike. It's what he does. The trick with Mike is to just give it back to him, and it's fine. Like,
I give it back to him, and it's just it just never ends. I'm just like, dude, you know what? I'm not gonna say the things that I could say because I know that you're helping Joe a lot.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't put money into it. I don't do anything like that. So I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. So, yeah. That was just a little question. Like, fucking Bruins, man. What the fuck?
Own goal.
Yeah, but they fucking came out playing with amazing fire, score within the first 2 minutes, and then fucking nothing.
Yeah, but they don't have McAvoy, right?
Yeah, but that don't matter. If you come out, like, literally, they were all over him. It don't matter.
No, I know, but I just think it's a blow. But I don't think he should have been suspended, but whatever.
I saw it going either way, whether it was just a fine or if he got suspended. And if it was more than one game, then it would have been like, okay, this is his first time offense. That's not right. Where other guys who have multiple offenses get just fined sometimes, but it was a pretty nasty hit, though, I will say.
Speaking of which, by complete fluke and happenstance, my wife was at that game because she went to visit her friend who lives in Ohio.
What?
And they happened to get tickets to the game, and her husband's like, "Why don't you take Lisa since she's here this weekend?" So she went to Game 6, and when that hit happened, she's like, people got like downright violent, like in the crowd.
Well, people were throwing shit on the ice too.
Yeah, that's what she was saying.
But get over it. They hit us with plenty of dirty shit throughout the whole series, so.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because they're gone anyway.
She said when the Bees scored the third goal, everybody in the arena just started leaving.
Yep. Well, and we know this from Boston. You don't do that, especially after that Toronto series a while back. You never walk out early. Unless you got like a minute left. Then it's like...
There's a minute left, yeah. But like, no, you pretty much try to stay the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Shit, I went to a game where there were 4 goals down, and I was like, I'm going to stay anyway. I don't care. That's also because the fucking tickets are like $150 for fucking balcony.
Awesome.
It's outrageous, the pricing that they have. And then I looked at the balcony for the playoffs. $225 for all the way back.
It's
and I was like,
finals.
Yeah, but no, this was first round.
Oh.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
Alright.
Alright, we good to go? Sorry.
I don't know, is Todd ready?
I'm babbling.
Ready to go?
Yep. Sorry, I had a little issue with the live stream. It cut out and put a video up there that was just static, so I had to delete that.
Okay.
We're shared on the website and on Facebook and on Twitter, so we are good to go.
Awesome.
Let me go in and share it from the Facebook page to my page.
I don't like this Facebook update, by the way.
It's funny because I saw they updated it, and I'm like, oh, this will be the thing people fucking bitch about for the next week. All right.
I'm not gonna sit here and bitch about it, but I just don't like it. That's all.
The bigger thing that we're going to bitch about is the fact that Skype, every time they update, completely resets your settings to default.
Yep, I noticed that too.
Yeah. Me and Jason figured that out yesterday when both of our microphones were set to the laptop mics. We were like, oh, fuck. But thankfully, we figured it out in time. Jason, I updated my Skype recorder, so it looks like it's running right now.
Mine looks like it's running too, so we're on the same page.
Good.
It's like our cycles synced up or something.
Oh, as always.
All right, shared.
All right. Everybody ready?
Actually, hold on 1 second. You didn't download this sheet already, right, Troy?
No. Fix what you gotta fix.
All right, done.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to the Rundown Wrestling Podcast, unintentionally offensive wrestling podcast. I am your host, Troy. With me this week to talk about a mediocre week in wrestling. The one, the only, Magnum Dog himself. Jason is here.
What the fuck's a brother got to do to get future endeavored around here? Because I gotta tell you, if I have to watch much more of this shit, I might, take some actions.
There you go. Before we get into who else is joining us, though, Jason,
Yeah.
why don't you go ahead and tell me what's going on over here?
Over where?
Over right on the side of your computer.
Oh, that would be on our YouTube page where you can be watching us live right now. We have a little chat box. We call it the Smathers Lounge, although that bastard is not in there. John Venrick in the house, though, another one of our supporters. We appreciate it. What's up, John? That box is open. You can pour in your thoughts, your semen, whatever you want to put in there, and we will read it on the show. It's how you interact with us, and we interact with you, all without the chance of getting venereal disease. So, good to know.
That's right. And if you do happen to head on over there, go ahead and ask John the perks of being one of our Patreons, because he and our other two patrons got to listen to a very special episode with me and Ginger talked about the very first episode of SmackDown 20 years ago debuted on UPN. And speaking of my Redbeard brother, Ginger is here.
Hey, what's up, you dirty twat waffle lickers?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I
think
feel
now you're trying too hard.
me.
Yeah.
Nah.
That wasn't nearly offensive enough.
No.
Oh, cunt bags.
There you go. That works.
Okay, all right. Yeah. After doing that Patreon episode, I feel old.
And I'm
Jesus Christ. It's Patreon, and the people are our patrons.
Patreon, patron.
It's you become a patron on Patreon.
Yes.
Gotcha.
You also tweet on Twitter. Joining us to make it a beautiful circle jerk, Sal is here.
What's up, Rundown? Glad to be in the show, although I hate the WWE right now.
All the way from Anchor.
That's right. And if you didn't get a chance to go over to rundownwrestling.com, we had a stacked week of shows. Hurry Up and Cruiserweight dropped with Adam filling in for Jeff yesterday. Me and Jason took it upon ourselves to talk about NXT. But there's another reason why you should be going over to rundownwrestling.com, and we're going to talk about it right now because
I think you skipped something.
I'm not looking at it. I have up the results. I'm not looking at it until after I do the results. I know the flow of the show was supposed to go, so... That's right, we are talking about the semifinals of our Hottest Female Talent Tournament tonight we narrow it down to two. Two beautiful sets of tits.
And the voting for the finals starts tonight, right?
Right now.
All right.
Now, you can go ahead and go to rundownwrestling.com right now and spoil who the two people are, or you could shut your fucking trap and let me talk, and I will tell you who they are. Then you can go to rundownwrestling.com and vote the final chance to crown the hottest female talent currently in WWE, because Sasha Banks got eliminated already and she quit. So, we had just two matchups, both sides of the brackets. Our first matchup, the anal princess herself, Paige, took on the goddess Alexa Bliss. And if I put a gun to your dick, Sal, which one of these two would you choose to be hotter?
Alexa Bliss. Sorry, Paige, but your anal only took you so far.
I mean, isn't that true for everybody, though? Ginger, gun to your dick.
Gun to my dick. Goddamn, this was
hard. It's a tough one, because Ginger's been all about the anal chick, but we know he's all about Alexa, too, so...
I went with Alexa.
Okay.
That was tough.
Jason?
It's Alexa all the way, especially now that we know she's single.
There you go. Well, Paige is single, too, isn't she?
Who knows how many cocks are just randomly rocketing in and out of her at any given time.
I mean,
Or she could be back with Del Rio.
I mean,
Fuck knows.
Alexa's single, too. And who knows how many cocks have been in and out of that since. I, myself, of course, would have gone with Alexa Bliss if this was 2012, though. Different story. With a grand total of 1,631 votes. With a vote of 1,246 to 385. 76% of the votes, Alexa Bliss heads to the finals.
Ouch.
So, who will be going head-to-head with Little Miss Bliss? Would it be Olivia Morgan, or would it be Peyton Royce? That is the question that I now present to Jason.
If we're going by my vote, it would be Peyton Royce.
All right.
Well, actually, it would be Mandy Rose, but of my two options, it would be Peyton Royce.
She's been out for 2 rounds.
And it was a travesty of justice then as much as it is now, sir.
All right, Ginger.
Oof. Liv.
Okay. All right. Sal.
I should say, before the new hairstyle, it might have been Liv, but now with the new hairstyle, it's definitely Peyton.
All right. New hairstyle on who?
Peyton.
Oh, Peyton's. Okay.
Her hotness quotient went way up with that new hairstyle.
That's true. That's true. Sal.
Peyton.
All right.
It boys.
Yeah, tough for me as well. I'm a fan of Olivia, but yeah, it would be Peyton Royce for me too.
We also haven't seen Liv since the shakeup, so doesn't help.
She might not even be with the company.
John says on the side says that Liv wins the whole thing for him. So
Okay.
I have a feeling, John, you might be disappointed in a moment.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see, because with a grand total of 1,201 votes, bringing our total for the both matchups 2,832 this week.
Wow.
By a vote of 735 to 466, with 61% of the votes. No contest on either one of these. Peyton Royce is going to the finals. Head on over to rundownwrestling.com right now to vote on Alexa Bliss or Peyton Royce for who you think is the hottest female talent that WWE has to offer.
This is not necessarily the finals I would have predicted from the beginning. I certainly would have predicted Alexa being there. I would not have had Peyton in there. I think we all know who I would have had in there instead. But it is definitely going to be a tough one to call.
That's right. And we are going to take a moment of silence for the death of Ray.
It was a big death in the week of wrestling.
Just step all over it.
Well, I feel like you're not appreciating the gravity of the situation. I mean, we lost an important figure in the wrestling business. I mean, this is, there are moments and there are people that when they go, you don't know how the business carries on, and it always does, but sometimes it's a little harder than others. So
that's right, because we mourn the loss of a future Hall of Famer, Ramblin' Rabbit. It's time for something that we like to call
Yowie Wowie!
And we're going to start the Perfect 10 off this week by talking about Bray Wyatt, because it is time to discuss what we have been getting from Bray Wyatt. So, if you guys recall, I was 100% balls deep on this as soon as we see it. And everyone else was a little skeptical, so I feel like...
That's not true.
Most of the people were a little skeptical on with Bray. But what we have gotten has been pure genius from this man, because we talk about the fact that Ramblin' Rabbit was murdered. Ramblin' Rabbit was the last Bray Wyatt incarnation that we had. That's what that represented, where he was rambling on about nothing. And who should be the one to eat Ramblin' Rabbit but Mercy, who is, of course, indicative of the original Bray Wyatt character, where he heavily featured, Waylon Mercy as his inspiration for it. It is dressed similar to him. So we have that. So then we also had word that this past Monday, Bray was supposed to reveal who he's been targeting. Now, that didn't happen, but we'll get there. And Bray has been doing this thing where he has been kind of teasing things on Twitter, discussing the fact that back in 2015, he hid lines in his promos that were out of place for his feud with The Undertaker, but were in place for what was going to be his next feud, and what he claims is now going to be his upcoming feud when he returns to the ring. So, we're not going to go, through everything that he's been talking about, but needless to say, there's been a lot of speculation going around online on who exactly, Bray is going to be going after. And so the thing is, he has an in memory of Rambling Rabbit on his Twitter.
I just saw that
too. So yes, he's been throwing out some of these clues and stuff like that, and I believe I know who he's targeting. But I want to see if you guys have a thought. Now, don't elaborate. Just tell me who you think Bray Wyatt is attacking, Sal.
Dude, I gotta be honest with you. I have no fucking idea.
Perfect. Ginger.
I'm with Sal on this one. I have no fucking clue.
Jason.
I'm fucking out.
Daniel Bryan.
Okay, maybe.
Well, think about this for a moment now. So these hidden lines, because he said this was going to be his next feud after The Undertaker, and it's now a current feud that he's going to try to go into. 2015, heading into WrestleMania, he was going against The Undertaker. We had already done the Daniel Bryan feud, but Daniel Bryan was on his way to winning the IC Championship. Now, why was he not able to do this feud in 2015? Could it be that it's because it's when Daniel Bryan had to retire because of his neck?
Right.
And if you read some of the lines that he said...
The concussions, not his neck.
This one was concussions, you're correct. Yeah, it was when he won the IC title, they took him out because of concussions. Because of Sheamus, I believe.
It was when he had to retire from in-ring, so he wasn't able to do it. So, obviously they have history, and if you read some of the things, the lines that he said talk about, limbo is not a place for you, which would sort of be, the fact that he was in limbo for a while in his wrestling career. says things like that I am the dragon, which obviously we know Daniel Bryan was the American Dragon. But yeah, that is what I think is a possibility. But we're not sure because it's WWE. It'll probably be Randy Orton.
It's pretty clear he's going after Ricky Steamboat.
That's
so,
but yeah, so the Firefly Funhouse that we've been seeing, obviously he brought up he's brought up a lot of the different things in the past. He painted a picture of Randy burning down his house. You know, he took a chainsaw to his own likeness, that kind of thing. But yeah, I've been enjoying this. It's honestly some of the it's one thing I look forward to. So I want to get your guys' opinion on on the Firefly Funhouse altogether, and as well as where we're going with Bray. Starting with Jason.
So I don't know where we're going with Bray. I'm sort of enjoying the ride of not knowing. It's a nice change of pace. But I will say this. I am very much enjoying the Firefly Funhouse skits. And the moment at the end where he's like all happy having a picnic with the kids who are staring off into the distance, completely like nondescript face. Like, it was very sort of creepy, and I like that part of it. I do have a concern that this could be one of those things that they drag out too long and people start to lose interest. You have to hit on this while it's hot. And I, just based on how they've run things in the past, I have a concern that this is going to go on to a point where people are like, all right, just fucking do something with this already, and then get bored.
I don't understand. WWE has always struck exactly when things are hot.
They give us what we want.
They give us exactly what we want, exactly when we want it, too. They definitely don't drag things out or wait until people, Drew McIntyre, are no longer hot, before they start pushing them for things. So that's definitely, I don't know where you're getting that from. Ginger.
I like it. I'm in the same boat. I just hope they don't drag it out to the point where the people are just like, okay, this is old. Because this is a somewhat of a repackage. They don't want to blow it again. And if they do, they are in big trouble when it comes to Bray Wyatt. He's a great worker, great promo guy, obviously. So we'll see where they take it. Let's just pray to the man upstairs or whoever you pray to.
Vince?
They don't blow it.
All right, Sal.
I do agree with Jason that the ride has been incredible. This past week, where the buzzard is tearing the rabbit to shreds, and he won't let either of them know. He won't let Bray know, and he won't let Abby the Witch know what he's doing. I thought that was actually hilarious. And then, the creepiness of it at the end, where he's ecstatically happy sitting down the carpet with a bunch of kids who look like their dog just died.
So do we think like next week Mercy will burn Abby the Witch?
Quite possibly. But next week there is going to be something, because according to Bray, this coming Monday is when he's going to unveil something. I don't know. If you look at his Twitter, it's obviously very cryptic, but
it's his dick.
It's going somewhere, and I definitely have
into
enjoying
JoJo.
this.
No, that already
Isn't
happened.
she pregnant? I was going to say, she's already pregnant. It's the demon baby. That's what's going to happen.
You guys keep talking about Abby the... Who's Abby the Witch?
The witch puppet.
No, that's Paige.
Oh, man.
No, she's the ass puppet. Different.
Sorry.
Yeah, and
sorry.
Paige doesn't have a Creole accent.
I don't know.
Once you stick something in that ass, all sorts of things start. People start speaking in tongues.
Yeah, you get a lot of baby girl, baby girl, baby girl. Baby girl, slower, baby girl. So
Baby dick.
Yeah, so we sort of,
whoa.
whoa.
Did you see Xavier Woods?
Yeah,
All right.
man. Yeah. By the way, Brad Maddox is an asshole. And
Well,
I cannot believe that he, first of all, that he has admitted half the shit that he has admitted that he likes to do. But also the fact that he has released videos of him jerking off to his own porn videos with Paige. Like, you are really fucking conceited. Jason agrees. All right. moving on. So we're gonna move on from talking about some ass play to talking about an asshole, because Lars Sullivan had a couple of things revealed in terms of his
Not his asshole, though.
not his asshole yet. Apparently his posting history on a, of course, bodybuilding website, which, yeah, the things he was saying, he made a lot of racist remarks. He made a lot of sexist remarks. He made a lot of homophobic remarks. This comes as no surprise that there are people like this in the world and people like this in WWE. We know for a fact that this shit has been going on for a long time, and so WWE was, as we have heard now, aware of these comments made by Lars before hiring him. And he has done his apology tour to different people. And it would appear as though he's not going to face any kind of repercussions currently, which is in line with how things have been, and personally in line with, my opinion on a lot of these things. Whenever somebody digs up, somebody being fucking stupid in the past, I do think that, the court of public opinion is a punishment in itself, because this guy's going to have a hard time now getting over with the crowd that knows that he has said this shit. So, and in the wrestling world, that's death, to just not be able to face. No, it's a good thing he is a heel. But obviously, we've had a couple of different people respond to it. Big E has, kind of mentioned it. A couple other wrestlers have come forward and said that, that yeah, he's apologized for it, but, so did Hulk Hogan. So, but again, I don't think he should lose his job because he said some bullshit online or whatever like that, because we don't know if he really means that shit or not, if he was trolling, things like that. You don't fucking know online. We know Hulk Hogan talking to his best friend on camera, probably he meant what he was saying. But again, Hogan got, lost a lot of money in that deal too, so. So I don't know, what's your opinion on it, Ginger?
I hate that people do this. It sucks that you're a public figure and this is going to happen, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't suck for these people. He could.
Whoa! I'm sorry. Are we playing the sympathy card for the guy who's posting racist, hateful, homophobic shit on the internet?
Nope.
Fuck this guy. This is the answer.
Agreed. But, God, it's just.
This is the, if you don't
everything is retractable online. Why can't people just keep it to themselves?
If you don't want this shit coming out, don't be an asshole in the first place and post it.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Don't post anything that you'll be fucking embarrassed that comes out if you become a celebrity. That's the fucking answer to it. So, no, fuck that. No sympathy for this guy, please.
Oh, no. Hey.
And that's one of those things that, we've discussed before with some of the sports athletes and stuff like that, where it's like, if your goal is to eventually make it to the big times and be famous, don't give people ammunition.
Yeah. This isn't a scenario where Paige had fucking private tapes leaked. Or hacked. This is not that. This is a different fucking scenario. This is a person who willfully and purposefully went on the internet and chose to repeatedly engage in multiple types of hate speech.
Right.
So, in a public forum. So, fuck him. And though WWE says he's apologized to them, there's been no public apology.
No.
Or acknowledgement of wrongdoing.
No, and I definitely think there needs to be. There needs to be that sort of public relations tour that you go on when you do dumb shit like this. And yeah, so far we haven't seen it. And so far all he's done is blocked the people who have brought it up to him, which is not a good image to portray.
Well, is it him or is it his alter ego social media representative?
Oh yeah. Thankfully, all of us hated this guy previously, and now we're just justified in our continued hate.
Sorry, and I'm sorry, I did cut Ginger off there. had to get that out. Go ahead, Ginger.
I wasn't defending him at all. That's a bunch of horse crap right there. Like, that is a big old pile of rhinoceros crap. Don't come and say all that crap expecting it not to get shoved right back up your ass once you're a known person.
Yeah.
Yeah, screw him to the full extent. I think it's going to end up being career suicide for him.
Okay. Yeah, John on the side says it was enough of an issue that he had his account banned on the message board. That is correct. He did. He was reported enough on the message board that his account was banned. So here's the other thing. All of those shitty fucking things that he said and stuff like that is enough where you're just like, you're a fucking idiot. This is a guy who clearly wanted to get into WWE and proceeded to insult a couple of the WWE wrestlers on this website as well. Which to me, like, by all means, the most important thing is the hate speech and things like that. But these guys are your coworkers now. And I'm shocked that, Leo Rush is a little bitch baby and he gets kicked out of the locker room. And Lars Sullivan makes fun of fucking AJ Styles' hairstyle. And everyone's fine and fine working with this guy still.
So let's also, let's throw on our speculative hats for a moment. Let's not forget, there was that very weird break in time between when Lars Sullivan was supposed to debut, when he supposedly had some sort of a breakdown and disappeared for a couple months.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps he showed up and some people had some issues with some of the shit that he had, had said, and his shit got heated, he got uncomfortable. I don't know what happened, and maybe that contributed to his hiatus. I don't know.
One quick question. How old are these messages on the message board? Do we have a exact time frame by chance?
I want to say 2015-ish, somewhere around there. It was about the time that Daniel Bryan was doing the Dr. Shelby stuff. When was that? So that was
Like 2013.
2013, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was before his title win at Mania 14. So.
And to John's point, he not only had his account banned, he created a second account and proceeded to continue posting the same kind of shit.
Right.
Oh my god.
Okay. You know what's scary about this? When sometimes in the past, recent memory, some drunken fan at an NBA game screams something at a player and it goes viral, right? This wasn't that. This wasn't him saying one thing in anger. This was a continued flow of hate speech. This was a message he was trying to get out there as much as possible. And that to me is really scary, because what is this guy at his core? Do you know what I mean? Now, if the WWE chooses to ignore it or they choose to sweep it under the carpet, that's on them. Me personally, I'm bothered by this. More so than some of the other things that have happened in recent memory.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like my approach to this is similar to like when Hulk Hogan got caught for his racist comments. It's sort of like, so your thing is you want me to buy that the only time in your life you've ever used that word happens to be the time when the video camera's on you?
Right.
I don't think so. Sort of like, I don't think the first time you cheated on your wife was the time she caught you. My guess is you did it a while. Like, same thing here. I don't think this is the only time he's used these sorts of topics and conversation pieces. My guess is that forum was not the only place he was having these discussions.
Right. It was just the one that he posted pictures of himself to, so people knew exactly who he was.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I mean, you can have a lot of anonymity online and say whatever the fuck you want. You can create as many goddamn accounts as you want. I mean, Kevin Durant created a second account so he could argue with himself.
This is the former general manager of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is like, if he's going to go back on there and create another account and just continue pushing the agenda, it's like, at some point you really got to start looking at this guy as okay, what type of person did we bring in here? And here's the thing. If he has, and we'll never know, if he has apologized to the people in the locker room, if he's been on his best behavior since, then I guess you kind of go forward. But I don't know. Is that culture still going to be there in the locker room? Is he going to be talking behind people's backs to other people there, you know?
Yeah, I would assume so. And you have a lot of people back there who are professional enough that they're not going to make it an issue every time they have to work with him. You know, I mean, a guy like AJ Styles is a consummate professional. He's not going to sit there. And mind you, AJ Styles is homophobic himself. We have evidence of that in the past. And yeah, dude, look it up.
No, I know.
Ginger
Wow.
made a face like he's never heard that, you know, that AJ Styles
No idea.
had problems with the gay community. But yeah, like it's not going to be an issue for a lot of people. Now there are other people who it is going to be an issue for, and they have full right. You know, anybody in that locker room that's a minority has full right to be. I don't want to work with this fucking guy. I don't want to be anywhere near him. Like that. Any of the women have full right to say I don't want to be anywhere fucking near him.
And of course, he's in a program with R-Truth at the moment. So.
Yep. R-Truth, known racist. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah. So, but again, like I said, I mean, R-Truth is the kind of guy. Clearly, he's been in the WWE for a long time. He is a professional. He will put aside his personal feelings for things, and he will go out there and do his job.
Wait a second.
The
That's why.
problem Go ahead.
That's why Carmella dyed her hair blonde again, so she's Aryan, so he won't mistake her for anything.
There you go.
Got it.
There
Makes
you go.
sense.
Yep. So yeah, but again, you know, you also have to look at it from WWE's perspective, and you need to really question them and go, are you okay with this bad publicity? You already have a shit ton of bad publicity from every other fucking corner right now for your ratings. Now you're going to add this to the pile, and you're going to continue to do business with a guy like this, you know? Where not enough time has passed, and he probably should be taken off of TV for at least for a little bit, you know, to let things settle down, because you get into the wrong arena and some things might be chanted when he arrives. So just remember that if anything happens, that's on you, WWE, for continuing to doing business with it.
Well, here's the other thing, too.
Internet, when you absolutely positively have to be a racist without anyone knowing.
I mean, here's the other thing, too. Whatever they decide to do with him storyline-wise going forward, especially if they push him to a title, people are always going to go back to this. You know? If they ever had plans of making him WWE champion, which, okay, I get it. He's not really...
You're pushing it a little bit there.
I get it, but you know what I mean. Even if he's in a high-profile program, they're going to be like, this guy? The racist guy? It's not going to go away as far as the internet goes.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Briscoes over in ROH.
Yep.
You know, those are two guys that people know. There have been some things said, and it's the reason why they probably can only work in ROH, because they have burned a lot of bridges, and they're a little too hot to handle on things. So, you know, it's the same kind of thing like that, where it's like, you know, there are people that'll look past it and go, oh, they're entertaining, you know, but there are other people like me who watch them and go, you guys are pieces of shit, and I don't want you to win 25 fucking titles, but it's ROH, so who gives a shit?
John on the side said he is sufficiently non-entertaining to a degree that I find myself in the awkward position of wanting R-Truth to win a feud.
Good on you, John. So we are going to go from that piece of shit to wild card, bitches.
Bitches.
So on Monday, we had word that Roman Reigns was going to be arriving on Raw, and he did so, and then he was followed over on Raw by a few other Raw superstars. Now, we had Vince McMahon in the ring, and McMahon said, I got an idea. A wild card. So he said, and I quote, maybe 3 people from one show can show up on a rival brand. That's 1, 2, 3. 3 people, he said. By the time Raw went off the air, 5 people had shown up from SmackDown on Raw. So the next
I
time,
thought it was 6.
I think it was 5.
Yeah, but he said Shane and Elias didn't count.
Well, okay, because he's they are SmackDown superstars, but they don't count.
You know, if you're counting Shane, that doesn't count anyways. Shane is not SmackDown exclusive.
I know he's a McMahon.
He's a McMahon. So it was 5. So then we went over to SmackDown, and we had AJ Styles show up, Sami Zayn show up. So the announcers said that there would be a finite amount of superstars that were allowed to come over. AJ Styles said 4 guys were allowed to come over, and he wanted to be one of those 4. And by the end of SmackDown, 5 Raw guys showed up on SmackDown. Even when you're telling your fans,
Whoa!
rules,
Yeah, but the Usos
you're
are a tag
throwing
team.
them
They
out.
count as one.
That's
So now we're going
fucking
acts.
bullshit.
We're not going 4 people. We're just going 4 acts.
Yeah,
Okay.
This is this is not the sole reason why you're having ratings issues, but it's part of it. It's because of the fact that you're not even abiding by your own rules. Okay?
For one night.
There's a simple storytelling mechanic that you create the world, you set the stage, you set the rules. You then have to continue to write within those rules. Because that's when regular TV shows stop doing that, that's when the fans go, this is fucking stupid, you know? Like, you have, take for instance, like a show like The Walking Dead. You have a set standard for how the zombies act. If suddenly one of the zombies, like, in the middle of it, stopped and went, I'm gonna pick up a gun, and picks up a gun and starts shooting them, your fans would be like, the fuck is going on? And you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna tune out. And that's what's going on with this aspect of
It's like if you're watching the Smurfs
Yeah.
and they're going around, collecting flowers, and then all of a sudden they're having hardcore fucking anal in the middle of the
Oh my god.
that is exactly what's happening right now. When you sit there,
Hardcore.
yeah. When last week it was, there's a clear, we have the superstars to shake up. There's a clear defined, like, these are Raw guys, these are SmackDown guys. They're not going to be any of each other's show. And then you go, all right, now there's a wild card rule, and you specifically have the owner of the fucking company go, 3 guys. You expect there to be 3 guys. You do not
wild
expect-
card, bitches.
You do not then expect there to be more people showing up, because then you're like, that makes no fucking sense, you know? So that's part of the issue, at least in my opinion. But I want to hear your guys' opinion.
It's awful.
All right. I'm going to need Jason to go ahead and read that comment because he spawned it.
Which one?
The last one.
Which one are you talking about?
In the chat, I guess.
The one in the chat that just came up.
I switched pages and it popped up on me. Let me say. Okay, so as the wild card goes, I suppose it's nice to have an engine driving the complete lack of logic and storytelling. There's a comment about Smurfette.
Oh god.
Which one were you looking for?
You started it. Read the comment about Smurfette.
John says Smurfette is getting worn out.
Oh my god.
I mean, the implication.
So much so that Papa's balls aren't blue anymore.
I mean, the implication on that show was always that they were all slamming her, right? She's the only female. Then
She's the only
eventually,
female.
Oh,
one
there was
there.
Violet. Violet was there too.
Yeah, but
I don't remember
But
the
at a
Violet.
certain point, there's like little kid Smurfs, and you're like, well, there's they don't. They clearly
Wait,
don't,
what's
not-
going
they
on
They
there?
clearly have sexes because Smurfette is clearly a female, so we know something's going on there. I mean, they don't call him Papa Smurf for nothing. All right, so Sal, what are your opinion on the wild card, bitches?
Okay.
Well, first off, what's your opinion on Smurf sex?
Yes, what is your opinion on Smurf sex? Are they more like a missionary kind of people, or do they do it Smurf style?
Like
They do it
Amish?
Smurf style all day.
Now, question. So they refer to everything as like Smurf and smurfing and stuff like that.
Smurfing.
Is there
Smurfing till your balls fall off.
Yeah. is there like standard word for sex, Smurf, and then they're like, I'm gonna do some Smurfing. Like, is it just in the infection?
Absolutely. And they're like, dude,
looking
don't.
at your face while you said that was the creepiest fucking thing ever.
Dude, Happy.
Go back and watch this video and look at your face as you said that.
Dude, Happy, I'm gonna smurf the Smurf out of that Smurf bitch.
Oh God.
Dude, I
Smurf
smurfed all
be
over her
like-
face.
Say that. Damn it. Troy just fucking cut me off.
There's your episode title. All right,
I
Sal,
bet you iTunes allows it to.
please. We've had worse. We're talking about Smurfs. It's fine. Sal, go ahead. What is your opinion on the wild card bitches, not the Smurf sex?
The wild card is bitches is their excuse to have no continuity or no reasons in their storylines whatsoever.
I've never needed an excuse for that.
No, but hold on. We do the Superstar Shakeup, and they fucking promote the shit out of it the whole week after WrestleMania. Superstar Shakeup. We can't get it right in one night, so much so that the next week we're continuing the Superstar Shakeup, where Andrade goes back to SmackDown, and other fucking people change shows. And now we got the wild card rule that all they had to do was say Vince has a big announcement on Raw, and him come out there and announce, I've invited 3 people from SmackDown, and this is how it's going to be going forward. Instead, they put out there that Roman is coming out to Raw. Roman's like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. And then Vince is like, I got an idea. We'll do a wild card. It's so
I thought my Vince impression was
stupid.
bad.
Oh my God, is it
Probably
awful?
worse than mine.
So the problem with that right off the bat is when you said, well, they promoted it like this and blah, blah, blah. Every year they fucking promote Survivor Series. It's the only time SmackDown and Raw superstars go head to head. So we already know they're not afraid to flat out fucking lie in their promotion.
Man, it's getting worse. It really is getting bad.
This is the Hail Mary. This is the desperation. This is the I don't fucking know what to do play. This is the I can't fix it play. When the reality is, and we have a topic that's going to really sort of gear more to this general idea later on, so I don't want to get too much into it now. Focusing strictly on the wild card portion. It is the biggest cop-out in recent memory, put it that way. This is and it goes back to, supposedly if you believe what the reports are, this goes back to NBC and Fox being upset, wanting more star power on their shows. But the problem is not where the stars are. The problem is not creating new stars.
Yeah.
That's the fucking issue. Not having enough big stars that you can do a brand split successfully and still have enough star power on both shows. That's not pushing Finn Balor to where he should be. That's not pushing Drew McIntyre to where he should be. That's not pushing Seth Rollins when you should have pushed him. That's not turning Roman heel when you should have, when he could have been the biggest. All these mistakes that they've been making for years finally come home to roost, and this is the end result. This desperation play that won't work either.
No, it won't.
Yeah, we talked about it before where, when they originally did the brand split, they didn't have as much talent as they had now. But what they did was they created talent. They created these opportunities because they had 2 shows. And instead what we're having right now is they've got a shit ton of people, and then they don't consistently use any of them, and they don't push any of them like they should. I mean, you talked about it too. Like, Roman Reigns is already your top star. There is no fucking reason that he has to face Drew McIntyre when you could be pushing Drew McIntyre to the top. You could, I know it's a crazy idea, utilize Roman Reigns as a way to propel and create a new star by having McIntyre beat him at Mania. And then you look at things like, That's a great point too. That's a great point too. Because the biggest event you have the entire year was used to get over Triple H.
Yep. Shane McMahon, Ronda Rousey, all these people who weren't going to fucking be there afterwards.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Batista. We're trying to pop a fucking rating for WrestleMania and the buy rates on the network at the expense of building the stars that could prevent the need for this bullshit.
Well, and look at John Cena. Cena comes.
You can't see him. You can't look at him.
Elias got beaten by a phantom. It's like you have an opportunity here. Elias is really over with the crowd to continue to do them, and they have done nothing. This guy is not even in a feud. Every feud he gets into,
he's supposed to be in a feud with Roman, but Roman's obviously busy. So
yeah, I mean, and again, I have no confidence that Elias is going to go over in this feud. Why would anyone think he's going to?
Real quick, you brought up the original brand split, and you guys just did a recap episode of the first ever SmackDown, right? Which initially was the Rock show. Yeah. SmackDown was the Rock show, and then when they did do the brand split, Rock was on SmackDown, Stone Cold was on Raw, Triple H was on Raw, and they developed Batista to be the SmackDown face and John Cena to be the Raw face after 2005. These were guys that were not main event players when they started the brand split in 2002, but they made them that. And they have done none of that. I mean, yeah, AJ Styles. This is the house that AJ Styles built. Fine. If you wanted AJ for the past couple of years as the face of SmackDown, I guess it worked. But not really.
No, I'd say that worked well.
As far as, elevating him to, a Cena Rock level?
No, because they didn't fucking go all out with that push.
Yeah.
But he was the face of SmackDown. I think there's no really denying that. But the problem is they continue to promote him as the champion of the B show.
Yeah.
And he wasn't main eventing pay-per-views like he should have been, despite the fact that his matches were often the better ones on the show.
That's true.
Wow, if you look at the original draft lottery, this is amazing. Just some of the selections.
Boy. I know Vince made Rock number 1 overall pick.
Yeah,
to SmackDown.
Rock over Undertaker to Raw.
Yep.
NWO to Raw. Chris Benoit to SmackDown. That wound up being a really good pick. Hulk Hogan to SmackDown. Rob Van Dam to Raw. I mean, but they tried, Billy and Chuck over on SmackDown. They also broke up the Dudley Boys during this. But, yeah.
A great idea.
Great idea. Worked great for
But see, you know what? That's the other thing. So I just reviewed 26 for WrestleMania Salvation, right? And they were able to do Batista versus Cena. Really for the first time ever. Because for 5 years, those guys were on separate shows.
Yeah.
You don't have that anymore. You have literally burned through every possible combination on your roster.
No, it's not true. If you keep these guys separate and individual to their brands, you'll be fine.
Well, not with
That's
the
all you
wild
have
card.
to do.
The wild card just ruined all that.
Well, exactly. And that's kind of what we're all kind of saying right now. You can't keep going back and forth with this.
Where the fuck is Samoa Joe every week? Where the fuck is Andrade every week? Why are we fucking watching...
He's inside of Charlotte.
Why are we watching Finn Balor in fucking Vacation? Why are we seeing all these people doing everything except fucking wrestling?
Because it's entertainment.
And I have a little rant to get into when we get into that 9th topic down there. I don't want to get too much... I don't want to burn too much of my ammunition here. But that's a huge part of this. Huge part of this. Those guys are capable of being top performers on these brands. But you have to make the crowd care. You have to invest the time for the crowd to invest their interest. And that hasn't happened.
Yeah. I appreciate, WWE trying to, to hire a diverse range of people, but I don't understand hiring a continuity manager with Alzheimer's. It doesn't. I mean, it's a good PR story, but the job still's got to get done. So, but speaking of making top stars, let's go ahead and talk about WWE's top heel, Shane McMahon.
To that, Ginger, I know me and Jason kind of went back and forth a little bit. Did you have anything to add about the wild card?
You're hosting now.
Oh, look who's... I was going to say, look who's putting on his host pants now.
Fucking dude, we literally barely let him speak.
That's usually for the best.
I believe Jason said this last week on last week's episode. We are tired of being lied to. And that's what they continuously do every week. And we're just getting tired of it. They're shoving certain people down our throats. We don't want it. Or they're messing up storylines, or they're messing up. It's a botch everywhere for them. But it's
To that point, Kevin Owens will open up this week's SmackDown. Oops, no, we won't. Or we'll have this 6-woman tag on SmackDown. Nope, we won't. They promote shit and then fail to deliver on it regularly.
But we all know that Vince is the last say on everything.
The only say.
Yeah, well, no, but obviously people bring him ideas and he says yay or nay. And
then he goes, well, that was fucking a cute little thing, but here's what I'm actually going to do.
Okay, yeah, exactly. But no, that's what I'm saying. He has the very last say. So if ratings keep dropping, does he say, well...
all injuries.
Yeah, but how many times can you say that? This is his second, which we're going to go over.
If ratings keep dropping, he's going to keep blaming everybody else around him.
If ratings continue to drop, do you know what's going to happen?
We'll get The Rock back for one night.
Nope. What's going to happen is Vince is going to go, SmackDown ratings are down. It's because of that black guy as champion. And Roman Reigns is going to be your new champion. He's going to look over Raw and go, Seth Rollins is fucking up. Bring Brock Lesnar back. That'll boost ratings. And that's what he'll do. He'll blame it on the top guys on the brands, and he'll take the titles off of them. You know?
He's got to come to some kind of realization. I don't think it will happen after, just like you guys just said, but he has to, or else he's going to just get destroyed, and his company's going to lose money week after week after week after week. And then, does Fox have the option to pull out of this deal, or
terminate the deal?
No, but they do have the option to move them off the network and onto Fox Sports 1 or something like that.
Which would be a huge blow for them, given what they expected to get out of this deal.
No. What'll happen is they'll move to Fox Deportes.
Is there Fox Ocho?
Well, we've sort of segued right into topic 9 at this point, so we might as well just run with it.
I don't know. We should ask our host.
Sal?
So hold on.
Go ahead. Can we go?
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
I'm tired of getting cut off.
It's all Sal's fault. He's the host. He's supposed to keep track.
So, would Vince listen to Fox if they threatened him?
Apparently, because he's rearranging the entire brand split because of what they want.
Then Triple H has got to get in their ears and be like, hey, this is what you have to say to him to get the shit to change.
The problem is
because Vince loves his money.
Yeah, I guess we'll see when October comes around, because right now, a lot of things. I mean, right now, all Fox can do is just show him their dick. They can't actually hit him in the face with it yet. So once October rolls around, then they can slap him in the face with their dick. And
they can't do the cut. They can't do the mic check yet.
Right. They can. That's how NBC can definitely do some shit, because obviously they're the ones who have the deal with him afterwards. USA. So they definitely can still say things in terms of Raw. But again, this was a compromise. NBC owns USA.
Right.
So that, so they have the continuation of Raw, so they could definitely do something at this point. But again, I mean, clearly they did, and this was the compromise for it. So, but eventually it's going to be, there's no more compromise. Here's what's going to happen now. And this is what happens when you have two different shows on two different networks. Is now you have two networks that are going to fight with each other. And it worried me a little bit when we first announced it, that Fox was getting SmackDown and USA was keeping Raw, because it's like it puts them in a shitty position that they put themselves into, where instead they could have taken both shows over to Fox and only had to deal with one network. And then you don't have this thing here where you've got one network saying, we want Roman Reigns, and the network going saying, you don't have any stars, give us Roman Reigns, why would we take him off the show,
Right.
Oh boy, things are going to get interesting. And hopefully they get interesting soon, because if not, those ratings are going to keep plummeting.
So, Shane McMahon's a heel.
I'm not saying anything because I'm not hosting anymore.
Sal, can you get this shit under control,
No,
dude?
you totally are. So cut that shit out.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah. So Shane McMahon is the top heel right now, which is a bad thing because he's not an everyday wrestler, and he shouldn't be an everyday personality. We don't... Like, the last time we had shitty fucking ratings, guess what was going on? Heel authority figures. That was the Triple H and Stephanie regime. This is not what we need. We don't need heel authority figures right now. Personally, we don't need any fucking authority figures at this point.
Certainly not if their name's McMahon.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's been done. You have all of this fucking talent. People were enjoying Paige as your GM. You know, Raw had its issues, but that's because it's Raw. You know, they couldn't find a fucking GM that worked. Even Baron Corbin, I would take over having the McMahons show up and stumble their way through fucking promos at this point. Because at least something was happening there, and you had enough baby faces over there kicking the fuck out of Baron Corbin to make it interesting. So, yeah. So, Jason, your thoughts on why Shane McMahon is your top heel in 2019?
Because of his last name. I mean, let me preface it by saying I think Shane's doing great work as a heel. I do think his feud, but the problem is he's now stretched too thin. He's now the top heel on SmackDown, feuding with Roman Reigns, and he's now the top heel on Raw. One of the top heels on Raw, feuding. I guess probably the top heel on Raw because I can't think of another one. Feuding with The Miz still in this sort of desire to push Miz as some new Stone Cold level badass. I don't know what that's about either. But as good as his work is as a heel, it's not compelling. It's not. And to my point, where are we going? Is Shane McMahon going to be feuding for the WWE Championship with Seth Rollins or Kofi Kingston? No. So why are we spending this much time on an angle and a top heel who cannot deliver at the level you need your top heel to deliver at?
Because they want to see him jump off of stuff.
As a heel, he shouldn't be doing that.
He's a heel, all right. So, when I first read that statement, Shane McMahon is the top heel in the WWE, I was like, no. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, wait, the guy who was the top heel, who was getting all this heat, has just become the new SmackDown Tag Team Champion. So, they had a top heel in Daniel Bryan, and I understand, I don't know if he had a concussion or whatever, but why did they put that act in the tag team title picture and propel Shane to the top of the card? And really,
well, they also basically took all the environmental shit away from Daniel Bryan before WrestleMania anyway.
right?
I mean, he had the belt, but he wasn't allowed to be sort of the eco warrior in his promos that had really sort of gotten him over.
So that's what I don't understand. They do these things and then they cut it off. Like,
That's the point. They and then every week it's something different. There's no threads to hold on to. And again, we're venturing into that other topic a bit too much. Let's stick to Shane. Sal, you're the host. You should know better than that.
well, let's hear your point. I like Shane's work as a heel. And maybe after the cage match with Miz, that storyline is tied up and that's finished. But are we really just going to do Shane for 30 minutes a week on TV until SummerSlam, until he fights Roman?
We're going all the way to SummerSlam with George Mizanin on a pole match. So
All right, we're done sticking the tip in. Go ahead, Jason. Vince told the investors that the time missed by Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, and Seth Rollins is responsible for the ratings dip, and their reaction to the ratings dip was to no longer put YouTube clips from Raw or SmackDown on the show while the show is still going on. So instead of improving the product, they instead decided to try to eliminate one of the sources of people watching wrestling other than on TV. So, clearly, he's refusing to admit what the real problem is, or doesn't know what the real problem is. So all of us are going to take a little step back, and we're going to let Jason unzip his pants and slap that big meaty dong, because he has something to say. Jason.
I didn't prepare anything for this.
Go play some air hockey.
Dead air doesn't work very good on the podcast.
No. Is there a more... is there a better example of how clueless this man is to what is actually going on around him? He cannot fathom the notion that the reason that the company's having problems with fans is him. They don't have these problems down with NXT. The NXT house shows sell out. NXT merch moves great. NXT has good ratings in terms of views on the network, at least, and Hulu views too. But Raw continues to go down. SmackDown continues to go down. Merch sales down. House show business is almost non-existent at this point. Hell, they can't even sell out Raws and SmackDowns anymore. And the question then becomes why? Because I've never seen a billionaire or a person who owns such a large business be so obstinate to what their fans are telling them, what their paying customers are telling them they want, in one loud, clear voice. And I'm not talking about recent. I'm not talking about in the distant past. I'm talking about very fucking recently. Seth Rollins has this shitty fucking slogan of "Burn it down," and we all mocked it when he started doing it, and it got over. But why did it get over? Did it get over because all of a sudden people thought it was really fucking cool? No. It got over because at the same time they were trying to push it, Seth was going out week after fucking week and tearing it up in the fucking ring. Whether it was great matches with McIntyre, whether it was great matches in those gauntlet matches, doesn't matter. Whoever you put him in the fucking ring with during that run, you were giving him 30, 40 minutes to go out there and make fucking magic. And he was delivering it. That is when the fans started chanting, "Burn it down." That is when Seth got over. And then they put him in this feud with Dean that was hot as shit. But rather than just allowing them to go out there and make magic, no, we can't do that. No, Dean has to put on a fucking gas mask and accuse the fans of smelling and being awful. Because that's what fucking heels do, pal. No, not in 2019. It's not Vince. No. And Kofi Kingston, perhaps the biggest pop in WrestleMania. Was it because after 11 years, all of a sudden people just recently decided that they loved Kofi Kingston? No. Vince. It came on the heels of some tremendous wrestling performances in the ring where there was drama and suspense and the matches were fantastic. And then the crowd fell in love with Kofi again. The key is right in front of your face, Vince, and it's the thing you used to do better than anyone else in the world, and for some reason you became so goddamn corporate that you forgot what it is that has made people love your product. The wrestling. And at some point the W in your logo became the dirty word and we focused only on the E. And that is when you started having problems. And you have those problems specifically because the other companies that are chasing at your heels a little bit, whether it's New Japan, whether it's Ring of Honor, whether it's AEW, all of them have in common, they focus on the in-ring product because that is what your fans want. Not the people who tune in for 5 seconds when the hockey game is on a commercial or an intermission. No. Your fans who show up at house shows, who bring signs, who buy merch, who have WWE Network subscriptions. The people that you show on a week after week basis that you don't give a shit about what they want, about what they think, or about showing them the respect of even putting in a minimal effort to have any continuity on your show. And then you're going to sit there and tell us, well, it's just because guys are injured. Vince made an empire. But right now, the emperor has no clothes. And the problem is he's surrounded himself with a bunch of people who don't want to tell him he's naked. And it will be too late before anybody has the balls to do it. Because in 2019, the biggest and only problem that the WWE has is not the performers. And that's the worst part, is that it consistently gets put on the talent who are out there busting their ass and making towns like it's somehow their fault. Like it's somehow Andrade's fault that the ratings are down when he's on TV, because nobody fucking knows who he is, because he went a month between appearances on television. But that's somehow his fault. He's not engaging or magnetic enough. Or Finn Balor, because people do the entrance. Yeah, people do the entrance. That's great. So let's use him to get Baron Corbin over. That's what we'll do. No, Vince. Again, consistently missing the mark and ignoring everything that your fans tell you they want. And I read that little thing that somebody posted in our host thread where somebody went, oh, well, you wanted Becky Lynch as champion and we got it. You wanted blah, blah, blah. And well, maybe the problem's just you because you're getting what you want. No. I'm not getting what I want. Because, I wanted Becky Lynch as champion, but I wanted it with a decent, compelling story that didn't insult my intelligence. And I didn't get that. The best story leading into WrestleMania was Kofi Kingston, and that was because it was a goddamned accident. It was not their plan. It was the one they had to do on the fly. And that's why it was the only good one on the show. It's very simple. Very simple. And I am not going to sit here and pretend that Vince is not a pioneer and a trailblazer, and that what we watched today and the successes that they've had aren't due 100% to that man, because they are. But the thing is, everybody loses their fastball. Every great pitcher. I don't care if it's Nolan Ryan. I don't care who your favorite pitcher is. They lose their fastball. Every great basketball player loses his jump shot. Eventually, you get to a point where you just can't do it anymore. And when I watched Monday Night Raw, and I saw perhaps the greatest two tag teams this company's had in the last decade do a segment about sweaty balls, I don't even know what to tell you. Because as great as, and we all talk about fuck the revival, that whole thing is making the Usos even obnoxious and annoying. They are managing to ruin both of them by doing that. You've got talent at a record-setting clip saying, I don't want to fucking work here anymore. Growing up in the 90s and the 2000s, can you imagine a talent saying, I'd rather go work the indies than work for WWE? Because that's what's fucking happening. Because they're not being creatively fulfilled. Because this product, creatively, is shit. And there is only one person to answer for the creative direction of this company. And it's the only fucking person that won't take any blame for it.
I honestly don't think anybody needs to say anything after that.
Except for that I'm gonna.
And here comes the argument with Sal of the week.
Now, there's a lot of validity in a lot of things that Jason said. But it's 2 points that really stuck out to me when he said that they've lost the W in WWE. To which my response would be, they haven't had it for a long, long fucking time. Because the most money Vince has ever made with his company first began with a 6'6" blonde guy, tanned and jacked to the gills, who couldn't fucking wrestle, but got over and made Vince a ton of money for a decade. And the second time Vince made the most money in his life was with a beer-swigging asshole who swore on TV and didn't get over at that point because of his wrestling ability, but he got over because he was an asshole. And I love Stone Cold. But Vince looks at that and he says, Well, that's what makes money, pal, not this wrestling crap.
No, hold on, because I'm gonna go against that because again, and as I said earlier, Vince fell into that shit completely by fucking accident. The Attitude Era was an accidental response to WCW taking advantage of complacent, I'm not going to change anything. I don't care that the ratings are down. I don't care that house shows are down. I don't care about anything. What I'm doing is the right way to do it. Vince McMahon that was giving people TL Hopper, Skip and Zip and all that bullshit. WCW listened to what the fans wanted. They wanted real characters, real personalities that they could attach to. WCW gave them that and took off and took control of the ratings, and that is the only thing that forced Vince to go to guys like Austin and The Rock. Otherwise, he'd have been out of business, still letting fucking TL Hopper and Duke the Dumpster Droese main event superstars every fucking week.
And that's the other thing that I disagree with your original argument, is when you said that you give him credit for being a pioneer in this business. Maybe originally. Maybe by buying out all the territories. But for the past couple of decades, Vince McMahon has fell into a lot of accidents. And this year was proof. Everything compelling at WrestleMania was legit by accident.
Isn't that what I said?
What I don't understand is I wouldn't give him any credit because he's had his finger off the pulse for at least 20 years. Ever since the Attitude Era ended, he's had his finger off the pulse. But he continues to make money despite anything, and he just signed $1 billion deal with Fox. Who's going to want fucking results? He doesn't know how to fix it, and all he's going to do is these things that he thinks are funny or that he thinks are entertaining. I wouldn't be surprised if we see The Undertaker come back, because he keeps going to that well. Whether it's Rock, Taker, Shawn, Triple H, it's all he knows how to do anymore, is go back to the late 90s.
And the problem is, the part that makes it even more infuriating is that he, in his own fucking backyard, has the blueprint. NXT should be used as the blueprint of what their fans fucking want. It's right there in front of them. And he has
their product.
And he has the guy. He has the guy who can do the things that need to be done in Triple H. Right there.
Yeah, it's. I watched wrestling this week, and I thought to myself, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm getting too old for this shit. Maybe it is for the kids. The people in fucking Kentucky were laughing at that skit with the Revival, so maybe it's me. But then I watch NXT, and I'm like, it's not me. Because this is getting over. This is the wrestling that everybody wants. This was a warehouse, B-show, non-traveling brand that ignited into a global phenomenon. And why? Triple H didn't have one star that he latched onto. No. Every time somebody came through there, he made them a big deal, and he put on the best matches. Every fucking takeover, we say, that was the best takeover we've ever seen.
Because they're constantly building new stars and not being complacent with the ones they have.
And one thing I will say this week on TV is I thought, at the very least, I thought they did a good job with Kofi this week. He was a focal point. He main evented 2 shows, and he put on 2 great matches.
Sure, and then they proceeded to tell you that this is the first time in a decade the WWE Championship has been defended on Raw, except that it was defended on Raw the week fucking before in a champion versus champion match.
Right. That's true.
They can't even keep their own shit straight week to fucking week. That does not happen on NXT.
So I have...
Sorry, I didn't mean to monopolize things.
No, it's fine. It's fine. For me, I'm the type of person who has said in the past that the past is the past. I'm not tuning in to Raw and SmackDown to see Attitude Era stuff, so I can watch the network for that. And I also nobody is expecting WWE to put up numbers like they did in the 90s and stuff like that. It's a different landscape. When Attitude Era was huge, when WWE was putting up those huge numbers, there weren't that many options on different things to watch on TV. Like there's now, where you've got literally just entertainment everywhere. What we are seeing with WWE right now is that they're not able to even keep their own baseline, and that's where the issues are coming from with the ratings, because their baseline right now is 2 million. They should have in ratings over 2 million, and they don't have that right now. SmackDown continues to be under that. Raw flirts around with it, has dipped below it as well. So, and I kind of mentioned it that guys like us, we're not the issue. We're not the ones who are turning off the TV. And the product is not 100% bad. If it was 100% bad, we'd stop watching. There are still good aspects of it. The problem is that they haven't been able to put even 2 solid hours of entertainment in front of you. And
right.
When I watch regular television, that does like an hour-long episode or like that, I expect to be entertained for that entire hour. Even in some ensemble shows that have different storylines and stuff like that, I still expect all those storylines to be entertaining. And what we're getting right now is not that. And I know a lot of people, again, we'll bring it back to the Attitude Era that, everybody had a storyline during the Attitude Era. All of them were at least something, But right now we have... I can't even tell you... I can't even figure out who's in a feud with each other at this point. I'm so fucking confused on even that. You've got Becky Lynch has 2 feuds going on at once right now. You got, Kofi Kingston is kind of feuding with Seth, and then kind of feuding with Kevin Owens, and apparently now feuding with Sami. It's just, it's too much. And, this whole them going back and forth on different shows and stuff like that, I get what you're trying to do there, but it's confusing to me. Mm-hmm. All I want to see is consistent storylines, and we completely removed Kevin Owens this week. Why? So that Kofi could have a match with AJ Styles and Sami, which I love all 3 of those people. I love Kevin Owens too, and he didn't even get involved with this. He literally started the show, well, not started the show, but had a point of the show where he said, "I'm not going to be here." That's not progressing your feud at all. And you didn't have Kofi Kingston's even mention, "Hey, that big fat guy, I'm not fighting him this week because I got to fight you, but at least I'm mentioning him." So you could have had Owens on commentary for the fucking match. You could have had him interfering. At least it'd been something. And that's the problem is this shit going back and forth here. You're not even maintaining your own storylines. And like I said, to me, I'm just fucking confused. I don't know who's pissed off at each other anymore. We got faces fighting faces left and right. You got heels fighting heels. It's just a clusterfuck. And, me and Jason watched NXT, and it was a mediocre episode. There wasn't much going on. They didn't really have any progression on storylines or stuff like that. They had a great fucking main event, which was awesome, and we had a continuation of a storyline with the Undisputed Era. That's awesome. And, they're going to have a bad episode every once in a while because you got to set shit up, But I'm going to come back and watch next week now, not because I have to do a podcast on it, but because there's a bunch of things right now that I know they're building towards. Don't know what's going on with the tag team division, but that's a whole other thing. But at least I know what Velveteen Dream is doing with that belt. I know what Johnny Gargano's doing with that belt. I know these feuds that they have going forward, And that's all I want. If you want to put Roman Reigns... If you want to do dual feuds, that's fine. Becky's got 2 feuds. She's feuding with Lacey Evans. She's feuding with Charlotte. And then all of a sudden, she's feuding with Dana Brooke. And she's getting involved with this person over here. And it's just focus. Focus on what is at hand here and build towards that storyline. Because now you're just throwing everything up in the air and seeing what sticks. So, I don't know. Anyone else have anything to say on this topic?
I'll throw my 2 cents in. So, when me and you watched the first episode of SmackDown, the one thing that I noticed, everything had a point to it. There wasn't any randomness. And that's kind of what's missing now, is they just throw some pointless match together and nothing comes of it. It's just like, that's it. It does, nothing hooks you anymore.
There's no setup, there's no build, there's no follow-through.
Exactly. So when it was a stupid feud, but it still had a story that we watched, was Al Snow and Big Boss Man. Stupid, but it had a point. So,
and they swung and they missed on that in the end. They tried to do a Kennel from Hell match that...
those two didn't click well. That was the issue. Their matches were just...
But you know what? You still got TV segments with them every week.
But no, that's what I mean.
Something. And I agree. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you. Like,
yeah, it's there's way too much pointless crap on the Raw and SmackDown now, and they need to consistently have a purpose to what they are doing, and that's what they're missing.
Yeah.
To Troy's point, the TV Raw should be compelling. I should look forward to watch Raw like I used to. I shouldn't feel like, oh, I have to watch Raw tonight. That's awful. It's an awful way to have a TV show.
Well, and, bringing it back to NXT again, we're okay if we don't see Johnny Gargano, as long as what we see instead of him has a point, is entertaining, and makes sense. And right now we are trying to get as many people on both shows as possible, because we think that's going to pop the ratings, stuff like that. But if you took the time and focus, they completely forgot women's wrestling existed this week. Both shows, they just pushed them aside. They got a little bit of time on both of them, but it was like it was the old days again, where it's like, we're going to focus on the men, and the women can, you got your little time over there, And I know that in Vince's mind, that's part of the reason why WrestleMania didn't work in his mind, is because the women main evented it, and that's why the build to it. But the lack of excitement for the build to it was your fault, because that storyline was a fucking mess. You had a goddamn fucking car crash that involved an actual car crash.
So do y'all remember when we were having this discussion about the women headlining WrestleMania, and I repeatedly said that if Ronda Rousey's not there, that shit doesn't happen?
Yep.
Yeah.
And some people chose to argue with me. Well, Ronda Rousey's gone, and women's wrestling is back to being secondary. It's not a coincidence.
Do not be shocked if they curtain jerk Money in the Bank just to get it over with.
Well, to be fair, Becky has 2 matches, so one will go on earlier in the show, one will go on later.
I was talking about the Money in the Bank match.
Oh, the women's Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
Well, they always space those 2 out, too.
Yeah,
one will go early, one will go later.
Well, we'll see which one goes longer. Let's put it that way.
Well, I mean, look at the talent in one of them. You got Naomi, Dana Brooke, Natalya. I mean, how long do you want those girls to go, really?
Well, and again, that's their fault, because they have better options that they could put in there. Yeah.
By the way, Dana Brooke looking like a snack on Raw, but just had to point that out.
So, we talked about how, the Vince's revolutionary idea of the Attitude Era saved the WWE from extinction. We're kind of hoping that AEW coming to the forefront, having a major deal, will spark a similar reaction, and WWE will do something to, at least turn things around. Or WWE will be the one that goes away and AEW takes that spot. But
the problem is, who's the Vince Russo? Because for all, and it's really cute and clever to have all these stories of
Cody.
But no, you're missing my point.
Yeah.
What we always hear is that, and it's the WWE's way of sort of denigrating the contributions of Vince Russo, and anybody who's listening to the show knows I'm not a huge fan of Vince Russo, but I will say this. His contributions are constantly negated by WWE, rewriting history, and, well, yeah, blah, 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 but he had Vince as a filter, and look what happened when he didn't have Vince as a filter, and blah, blah, blah. But that's the thing. Vince is fine in a role as a filter, but he's not, right now, he's not a filter. He's the only voice. There is no filter for Vince. So everything Vince thinks is a good idea goes to air. And that's what's killing this company. Vince needs a filter.
There's only 2 people that can be that filter, and that's his son-in-law and his daughter.
I was hoping Bruce Pritchard would fill some of that role, but
It seemed like that was going to happen, but obviously it didn't.
So yeah, so that was me segueing in to our next topic. Discussing, is WWE helping AEW more than AEW is even helping themselves?
Possibly by default.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Not even debatable.
It's one of those cases where it feels like, you know, WWE is like saying to their fans, look, you know, please don't cheat on us. Like, don't do that. Why would you do that? But then they're also like beating their wife. And of course the wife is gonna go, well, now I'm gonna go fucking cheat on you. Like they're pushing their fans away from them. And and we know right around the corner we've got a huge opportunity for a brand new show and a new alternative to WWE coming up. And instead of,
which is built almost entirely on social media engagement and hearing and listening to the fans.
Right, exactly. And giving the creative minds of their workers an opportunity to use their creative ability. Right. And yeah, so now you're sitting here and WWE could be using this run up to October, this run up to their new fucking platform on Fox, as an opportunity to take some chances. Because once AEW is there, you might not be able to take as many wild swings as you can right now. Because if you take a wild swing on something in October and it doesn't work out very well, your fans might find a brand new fucking home and not come back. You know, that was the problem with WCW. When WCW started to gain traction, they started taking some opportunities, and like you said, WWE was, nope, we're not going to do any fucking wild swings. We're going to, it's business as usual. And they got fucking reamed by WCW because WCW was doing different shit. And obviously we know how it eventually ended, but that was because WWE finally was forced to take those wild swings. Whereas right now, they could just do it. Just fucking do it. Mm-hmm. Like, do something.
It was also because WCW got bought out by AOL Time Warner and then had to present their show in a completely different fashion, which was the, you know, disgusting, awful days of Nitro. And that being said, when they go to Fox, is there a chance this product actually gets worse?
No, I think with Fox has specifically, you know, at least from what we've been hearing, it sounds like Fox has their own idea for things, and their idea for things is to be edgier, and they would like WWE to not be as PG, because, you know, you're going prime time, and nowadays, like, you cannot turn on Fox at 7 o'clock at any night and watch a show that's PG. You're just not going to see it, okay? All of their shows are PG-13 or TV-14 is what they would be considered, or TVMA. And so I think that once they go in there, they're going to want to get to that key demographic. They're not going to want to get the kids, because the kids in their demographic shouldn't be staying up that late at night, you know? But again, like I said, once it goes to Fox, we will see what happens. It's definitely going to be, at least there should be a visual change in things, in terms of booking and things like that once they go to Fox. But again, it might be too little, too late.
So Smothers on the side says, is Triple H any better than Vince in regards to AEW apathy? Remember his pissant little company jab and the constant...
It was a joke in character.
The constant denigration of territory days in social media. He runs a fucking small territory in NXT. So...
Of course Triple H is aware of AEW. Again, it was a joke in character. Okay? Right. The pissant commentator like that. Triple H.
He was speaking in Vince McMahon's voice when he basically made the joke. Too,
so. Exactly, yeah. it's that's not.
I
how he
love
feels.
that people.
He's fucking
I love
scared.
that people blowing that out of
Yeah.
proportion.
Yeah.
He is concerned about it. I guarantee you, he has daily meetings with Vince, going, "Dude, we need to do something because this company is coming our way."
Besides, Cody already took a shot back.
Yeah. Well,
So to the point of the original question about is WWE helping AEW more than AEW is, the answer is 100% unequivocally, without a doubt, yes. And I can give you the most crystal clear example of that just from this past Monday. Because if you're a fan, like a lot of us are, of the Revival, and you watch what happens to them, and then you go on the internet, what is the thing people are constantly saying about the Revival? I can't wait till they get out of there and they can go to AEW, where they'll be used. AEW, AEW, AEW. Their treatment of their talent is leading people to basically give free advertisement all over social media for AEW.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys heard about this, but apparently while this segment was going on, there was a small pocket of AEW chants in the arena while Raw was being taped.
Was there really?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So absolutely, this type of booking, this type of storytelling, this just complete bullshit that Vince McMahon's, because he's 73 years old and he still thinks gay jokes and locker room humor is what's going to get over, he's providing them all the free advertising they want.
yeah. Let's not.
So yes.
Yeah. Let's not forget that every single WWE wrestler that has an expiring contract, instantly they're AEW bound. Every single wrestler that's disgruntled, there are stories left and right on the internet, AEW bound, that they're going to get signed by AEW. AEW wants this guy. AEW themselves has said they're at capacity with their roster.
Pretty much, yeah.
They're not signing any of these guys now. Somewhere down the
That
line,
said, at
potentially.
capacity on paper is one thing. If Sasha Banks were to become a free agent, they're gonna fucking sign Sasha Banks.
Oh yeah,
Right. I
yeah.
agree.
If it's a top talent, obviously they're gonna fucking scoop him right up.
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously right now everyone's John Moxley's going to AEW. And it's like, well, probably not.
No.
But it's the free advertising. Again, like Jason said, it's I can type in Dean Ambrose and I guarantee you there's a bunch of fucking stories right at the top of Google where it says those fucking AEW on every single one of them. So, Sal.
Yeah.
What are we going to next, host?
Well, you brought up the Revival, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Revival.
Thank God you're here to steer this ship,
I know,
Sal.
right?
Stop it.
Without you, would be lost. It'd be like when Adam ran the show.
Adam who didn't even remember he was hosting half the time.
He remembered.
So-
he just didn't like the fact that we didn't follow his plan. You need to remember that for the like Adam, I love you. For the longest time, me and Andy continually tried to throw the show off the rails as much as possible, just for Adam's facial reactions. All right?
That's awesome.
So kudos to him. We probably burned him out. So.
Possibly.
Yeah. Plus, this show will be posted on the website tomorrow, so it's completely different.
Okay, so we obviously we've talked a little bit about the Revival. The story came out from Tuna Meltzer saying that WWE is trying to devalue them before they leave. They're leaving in a year. I don't think they're trying to devalue them before they leave. I think that they think this is getting the Revival over. That this is Vince's idea of, if you're going to devalue them, you just don't use them.
Right.
Because you've got Luke Harper sitting there and not on TV. That's devaluing him. People forget about you if you're not there. No. And again, like I said, they're not going to devalue guys that are there for another year. If they were like the Club, who's leaving come October, then I could maybe see that being the case. So, of course, Tuna Meltzer is always going to say shit like this. And because he loves to say that the WWE is petty. And they are, but not about everything. No. Again, Vince thinks this is good. Vince thinks that the Usos and the Revival in the storyline is awesome television.
It's amazing because he probably thinks this is getting the Usos over too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, People are gonna think those Usos are so funny, pal.
Yeah.
Like this shit is fucking. It is beyond cartoonish. When that segment was going on, it made me, and I'm sure a lot of people question, why do I still fucking watch this shit? And then they didn't even like hint at it. They legit shoved it in your face for about 10 minutes. To the point where you really just wanted to shut it off. And I mean the whole fucking program, not just that segment. It was awful. And what purpose? What, the Revival has itchy balls? Like, that's the purpose? We gotta chant that next time on Raw?
Apparently we need to, or one of us, maybe Ginger, needs to speak up. Your wife is commenting on our website, by the way. So it says Mumblies. Are you Mumblies? Is that a nickname that she gives you? Is it like a pet name?
Nope.
Okay, well, one of us is Mumbling.
I didn't know whose wife you were referring to.
Sorry, Ginger's.
Well, back to the original point. Do you guys remember when the Revival made their debut on Raw?
Yes, 1,000 times.
Okay. They came in looking like the most badass fuckers, the most badass tag team to step foot in the whole fucking locker room.
Sort of a club.
Exactly. And what happened? They were off TV. They got hurt. They were off TV. And then I think Vince almost feels like if they don't get an immediate reaction when they come back from their injury, they don't give a shit. Which is not true, because you gotta let them almost rebuild in a way, if that sounds right. You gotta rebuild them, because if not, if you keep them off, if you let them on one time, people don't react and keep them off. What the fuck is that accomplishing? That's not giving them the opportunity to show everybody and you yourself what that team can do. And once it was Dawson that had his jaw broken, correct?
Yep.
I believe so.
Sorry, Dash.
Dash, sorry. Yes, Dash. It was just like, I think that hurt him a lot, and they were off TV, but they came back, they cut a couple promos before he could work again, which was nice, but can't do that. You gotta just let him fucking go in the ring, kick ass. I'm hoping that once the Usos and the Revival step back in the ring, get in the ring and have their match, they let them do what they can do. Because that match, in my opinion, could steal the show.
Well, yeah, and that's why these two teams are in a feud together.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
but it's about allowing them to do what they can do.
Right. If you had a competent person running the shit, this feud would be great. But what you have is
sweaty balls.
Yep, exactly.
Fuck.
But you know what? I mean, this is what's going to keep happening, until something happens.
So bad.
I mean, this is the company that's, the Revival, the whole thing with them like turning down the money and stuff like that. Well, I completely understand that, because one, you wait until after that fucking big Fox money comes in before you sign a contract, because then they can offer you more. And second, yeah, right now, like, you got a year left on your contract. You don't negotiate till you're at the end of your contract.
No. Fuck no.
So, again, like I said, it's one of those things where, of course, Tuna Meltzer makes this gigantic fucking leap that, they turned on the contract, and so they're getting fucking buried. Again, appearing on TV every week isn't getting buried. Okay? Not appearing. Okay? Luke Harper is getting buried because he is not appearing on television.
So disappointing.
You forget he exists if you don't see him. Just because you don't agree with how they're being utilized, or you're not entertained by the way they're being utilized, doesn't mean that the idiot behind the fucking program isn't utilizing these guys. Again, he doesn't give a fuck about tag team wrestling. The fact that he's giving actual time for this shit is astonishing. Yes, Jason.
I just take a little exception to the notion that this is not a burial, because granted, it's better than not being on television, but you can't really be buried by the definition of being buried if you're not on television. The whole point is to mock you publicly. So you're not really burying someone by not having them on TV. People just forget about them. Burying them is actively going out of your way to make them look like shit.
Yeah, but I think that you need to look at where this is going to go. I think that they do have a plan for it, and I think that the revival, gets their revenge on the Usos eventually. But we'll see. If they never do, then I'll admit that I was wrong, and I will say that that they're being buried.
And hats off to the revival, because they absolutely did their best to put this shit over, and they worked their asses off, no pun intended, to make this look as decent and funny as they possibly could.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do. If this is what they have to do in order to get a sustained run with titles or get better booking, then they're going to do it.
Yep.
Because otherwise, they could just quit.
We need to move this abortion along now.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So we already talked about Kevin Owens not being on the show. We already talked about. I mean, I don't think we really need to talk about Sami Zayn. Sammy did a great job. Sammy got fed to Braun Strowman on Raw, which was shitty. But then he was able to get a great promo win on SmackDown, and then was in the main event. So.
Hot damn! I love his promos.
He's doing so fucking good, and again, it's one of those cases where you go, why isn't he?
Why are we feeding him to Braun?
Yeah, why are we feeding him to somebody that we haven't been utilizing at all since he won the M Trophy? You could just have him come out and keep fucking talking. You don't have to progress it at this point, because he's doing a good enough job on his own, and he got a WWE title opportunity, which was great, and he got to show yet again how great of a fucking worker he is in ring. This guy should be your top heel on Raw, because you don't have anyone else. He should be. You have a face champion over there right now. Why isn't Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins the people that are going to face each other at Money in the Bank? Why are you having face AJ Styles go against Seth Rollins? It makes no fucking sense. Unless, like you said, if they're going to turn AJ Styles. But if Money in the Bank goes off the air and AJ Styles is still a face, it's a loss for me. I
don't think a turn would happen until after he loses to Seth. I think that's the thing that pushes him over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is, if it never happens, then I question why the fuck did this happen. So
I'm saying I don't think it'll happen at the pay-per-view. I think it'll probably be on Raw afterwards.
But aren't we kind of already seeing hints of that? I mean, he forearmed Seth in the face and then kind of walked away. It was like, no, fuck him, let him get pinned.
Yep, that's not on this topic list, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Host. I know you want to spin it off into your other topics, but
the next time you try to add a topic to the Perfect 10, I'm going to add 6 months to Luke Harper's contract. All right.
You mean 6 months to Sal's Anchor contract?
Yes, that's right. So let's talk about our main event. We obviously have heard that Fox and NBC want all the stars on their show. We have seen this wildcard bitches to have both things. Should WWE end the brand split? That's the first part of this question. So just yes or no. Should WWE end the brand split, Sal?
No.
Ginger.
No.
You started to do it and I cut you off because I said yes or no. Ginger.
No.
Jason.
Absolutely not.
Troy. No. Sal, how do you fix it?
I think since he tried to talk out of turn, he should go last, but that's just me.
Well, just for that, 6 more months on Luke Harper's contract and yours. Jason, go ahead. How do you fix the brand split?
A lot of it goes to what I talked about earlier. You have to build new fucking stars. It's really not that difficult. You go back to when the brand split actually worked, when you had the SmackDown 6, and you had top-level talent, multiple top-level talents on both brands. That makes that shit work. You can do that again. You have to stop going to the Roman Reigns well every time something gets a little crazy. You have to take the time to build. You have to sometimes take a step back to take 2 steps forward. That's what they need to do. They need to build these guys to top talent. They need to put them in. And building someone to a top talent is actually a lot easier sometimes than people think it is. A compelling match with the world heavyweight champion can go a long way. And I know this because Ric Flair made an entire career of traveling the country and going 60-minute time limit draws with people and making them stars in the process. No pinfall loss, no disqualification. They didn't lose the title. 60-minute draw. That guy's a star because he hung in there that long with the heavyweight champion. The problem is they don't use that championship to get other people over. They only use it to further get over the guy who holds it, which is a complete waste of the entire reason to have that belt. But yeah, it can be fixed. And I think to end it would be catastrophic. You have entirely too many talents on this roster as it is, that if now both shows are focusing on the same 10 to 15 guys, you have even more guys who are never seeing the light of television, much less being given any character development to make them compelling.
Yeah, to me, they just need to go back to both shows being treated as separate entities and being at war with each other. And I know I just took what Ginger was going to say, because SmackDown used to feel different.
Yeah, the whole war thing was always hokey, though, because why the fuck I was on that brand last month. Why the fuck am I at war with them now? I don't give a shit. A lot of my friends are still over there.
Because you're loyal to the brand you're on.
Yeah, you're loyal to the brand.
That's like saying, well, I play for the Celtics and you play for the Nuggets, so I have to hate you because we play for different teams. Like, that's not real.
Wrestling's not real.
No, wrestling is real. Wrestling is real. People are fake.
Yeah. But no, like I said, Raw and SmackDown felt like different shows. You had different camera effects. You had different lighting effects. You had different production styles on both shows. And right now, they have that now. They have different stages. They have different mats. They have the announced teams are in different places. They've done all those little things to try to differentiate the two shows. I think the most compelling thing was a couple weeks ago, somebody went out, was it Kofi, I think, went out on TV and said, "This isn't SmackDown, this is Raw. The ropes are white, and that's Michael Cole and not Tom Phillips." Those were the only 2 discernible differences they could think of to mention in that fucking promo. Right, because the booking now on both shows has become exactly the same. The production and the presentation has become exactly the same. They just have different graphics and different voice and you've got different announcers, except for Corey Graves. He's on both fucking shows. Why is he on both fucking shows? Stop that. You want both shows to be different. You need to have completely different. You need to
Sal, you're on suspension.
What's that?
Sal's still on suspension. He tried to talk. Sorry, I just cut him off.
Okay.
6 more months.
That's right. Months. So like I said, Tom Phillips sounds different enough from Michael Cole. That's great. But then having Corey Graves on both shows, you're just like, it's the same fucking thing. Having matches be the book the same way, it's the same fucking thing. Having fucking the same GMs on both shows is stupid. It made much more sense when you had, heel authority over on Raw, you had Shane over on SmackDown, or Daniel Bryan over on SmackDown. It made things unique. And right now, there's no uniqueness between both shows. So much so that I can't even fucking tell you half the people that are brand exclusive at this point.
And to the point earlier when we were discussing Vince and his inability to accept where he is the problem, and you brought up the point, that's the only reason I mention this now, the announce teams. How often do we cycle through guys on the announce teams because they're not working out? God damn it, they're not good. Blah, 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 blah. But yet, we never have a problem with the one announce team in NXT that doesn't have Vince screaming in their fucking ear all the time.
Right.
The only announce teams that have problems are the ones where Vince is on headset and gorilla.
Right. All right. Go ahead, Sal.
No, Ginger's turn.
Well,
go ahead, Sal.
Go ahead, Sal. I'll let you go.
They legit copy each other's storylines in the same fucking week!
All right, cool. Ginger, you're up.
No. We brought in Absolution on Raw, and the next fucking night on SmackDown, we brought in the Riot family. Why? Why do we just do three girl groups in the same fucking weekly television programming? You want to know how you fix it? And I'm being dead fucking serious. Give Triple H and Stephanie one of the shows. Completely. The promotion of it, the booking of it, the talent, whatever.
He already did. It's called NXT.
No, I'm talking about on network television. Give him fucking SmackDown. And see which one fucking succeeds better. Because I guarantee you Triple H can outbook Vince. If it was actually head-to-head.
Well, Raw will probably do that because people don't. People still think that SmackDown is the Raw recap show. That's still why they get less viewers.
I mean, the takeovers are consistently more popular than the pay-per-view events that follow them, so I think we've pretty much already proven that point, Sal. I don't think we need to have...
Well, maybe somebody needs to prove it to Vince.
Well, as long as he's the guy whose name is on the checks, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, but you know what? There's plenty of owners in sports leagues that are hands-off. All right? They're not involved in every single fucking decision.
Vince McMahon is the Jerry Jones of professional wrestling.
I would have went with Dan Schneider, but that works too.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah, except Dan Schneider was never actually the GM, was he?
No, he was. Yeah, he
Not
actually,
on paper. Not on paper.
Not
He didn't
on
hire
paper.
himself.
I
Jerry
was
Jones
gonna say, I
hired
thought-
himself to be the fucking GM.
True. Jerry
you're
Jones
up.
at one point was the GM, the president of operations, and the owner.
Jesus Christ, Sal, will you let anyone else get a fucking thought in? Ginger, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I wonder who has the most fucking thoughts on this show this week.
Well,
Go ahead,
considering both
6 more
fucking
months, asshole. Go ahead, Ginger.
Jason and fucking Troy both stole like everything that I was gonna say.
Sorry, we're
The
set.
thing that I liked when they did the brand split before, they had all the way down to the referees weren't even on the same show. Mike Chioda was specifically on SmackDown, and I believe
And they wore different shirts.
yes,
Patrick was
every
on-
fucking thing was different about the shows, and nobody touched each other unless it was WrestleMania or Survivor Series, and that's how it should be. You can't have these.
talking about. It's the only time SmackDown and Raw stars compete in head-to-head action.
Oh yeah. You need you fucking dick. Shut up.
Do you remember leading into the Superstar shakeup what they kept utilizing for everything? This is possibly the last time that we'll see Roman Reigns on Raw.
Oh my
Troy,
god.
Ginger just called you a dick and asked you to shut up. Ginger, can you finish?
So it's just it's so frustrating to the point
That we
that
keep
it's
interrupting you?
it's unbearable.
All right, Sal, you're up.
But in all seriousness, to this point, they need to keep everything separate. That's what it literally boils down to, 100%. Change everything, make it completely different. Don't touch each other. Don't have this flippity-floppity bullshit. That's literally all it boils down to. And build new talent on each show and keep them separate. That's it.
That's a lot of different things to do. That wasn't just one thing.
All of which Troy and I already said.
Yeah.
Because you fucking assholes took my fucking points.
All right, Sal, you're up.
I already fucking talked about it, man. But I'll tell you this.
Just fuck more.
We are going to have the wild card.
All right,
Swipe
Ginger,
her
you're
on
up.
the face.
There's literally nothing we can do. There's going to be the wild card going forward. So let me ask you guys this. How do you fix it with the wild card involved? Let's say they have to do the wild card because of NBC and Fox. What do you do?
Do it like before a baseball game where they release the lineups. And go, this week's episode of Raw will feature these SmackDown superstars. And then you know those are the only ones that are showing up.
I'm all right with that.
But then 3 more show up.
Yes,
You pick 4 superstars every week to get to put it in Paige's Smurfhole.
that's right. Yeah. No, what happens is we get the McMahon's Wheel of Money or whatever the fuck it was, and they spin it and go, let's see who's gonna be on the show this week.
And they just happen to be in the
AJ
back.
Styles.
Honestly, that would at least be interesting.
It would be compelling.
If they spin the wheel every week, it's got the pictures of every superstar on it. It would be sort of like back when they had the randomizer during the draft. It would be kind of that thing.
All right. See, I
But the
fixed it.
problem is, by doing that and having it not be consistently the same people, you can't build fucking storylines.
Jesus Christ, I think Jason could have had his whole podcast by himself tonight.
Sal, you're up.
It's just gonna keep happening, dude. Just go with it.
Sure.
All right.
I could put some porn on it if you guys want.
Yeah. In all actuality, though, we are going to check in with Ginger.
That was zucchini?
And Ginger, tell us what's going on over in Liberty States Wrestling.
Fuck you guys for giving me this one. Liberty State Wrestling holds our annual May season finale, Respect, on Saturday evening, May 11th from the John McCarthy School, 76 Lake Street, Peabody, Massachusetts. This will be our last show till late September, so don't miss this incredible night of action. Matches. Big Woody tribute match, unequally known piece of shit and fucking just straight up asshole, dickbag, fucking douche nozzle. Todd Sopel versus
Listen, Ron Burgundy, just read what's on the prompter.
All right. Okay. Unequally known piece of shit, Todd Sopel versus Demon Ortiz. Liberty States Heavyweight Championship, Vernon Vichello defends against the returning D.L. Hurst. No Limits Championship 4-way elimination match. Jesus Christ. No Limits Championship 4-way elimination Robo defends against Sethrin with Vanity Vixen, Ilya Margopoulos, and Fabulous Johnny Vegas. Royce Bishop versus Club Cam, also appearing Johnny Vegas, Chris James, Marco Santiago, and many more. Tickets are just $10. General admission. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. with a bell time of 7.
Didn't you used to be a wrestler that did promos?
Me?
Yes.
Literally, my greatest promo was 5 words.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and it
Sal,
wasn't
you're
that
up.
good.
No, Sal, you're actually up.
I know. I'm just wondering why you guys want guests. Seriously. Saturday, May 18th, Bruce City Wrestling presents Retribution from the Elks Lodge 400 in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Ringside tickets are $20, 18 advance on BruceCityWrestling1.com. Doors open at 6:45. Bell time is at 7:30. Special meet and greet at 6 p.m. with former WWE superstar Swoggle, as well as ROH stars The Bouncers, Beer City Bruiser, and the Brawler Malonis. $10 admissions. Picks and merchandise will have separate fees. Already signed, ROH stars The Bouncers versus Bruiser Nick Colucci and Brandon Blaze. Bruce City Wrestling Heritage Championship, no disqualification match. Demented Chucky Bates versus Doc McStuffins. That's not a thing. Bruce City Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship, Dysfunction versus Filth King Nick Brubaker. More fandom only matches announced soon to www.BruceCityWrestling1.com.
Jason?
Okay, I thought he was going to read the rest of it. Okay, Atlantic Pro Wrestling returns to the Newburyport Elks Lodge with another great night of wrestling action. Tickets $15 each at the door. Advanced general admission $12. Reserved front row $20. Reserved second row $15. Reserved front and second row also receive early admission to the show. Tickets are available at the door, or you can go to the website or go through Atlantic Pro Wrestling on Facebook.
What's that website?
Doors. What's that?
What's that website?
AtlanticProWrestling.com.
That's not what it says there.
That's not what it says there.
Go by the script.
Yeah, no, I'm not reading that. Doors open at 6 p.m. 6:30 p.m. is the bell time. Your card, the APW Heavyweight Championship on the line as Dynamite Danny Miles defends his title against number 1 contender, returning Bear Bronson. The APW New England title will be on the line when Demon Ortiz defends against the masshole Mike McCarthy. The APW Women's Championship on the line as Vanity Vixen takes on the debuting Chris Statlander. APW Tag Team titles will be decided between the Nightbreed as they defend against American Made. In just announced a loser leaves APW match, Mass Appeal Travis Gillette takes on the Bitter King Buddy Romano. In tag team action, Venom takes on the Breakfast Club. Of course, more matches will be added, and the card, as always, is subject to change.
So which one of those two are heading to AEW?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Sell her up.
Lucky
No,
Pro
I'm
Wrestling
not.
presents Mayhem on Saturday, May 18th at the Wendell P. Clark Memorial YMCA in Wichenden, Mass. Doors open for a special meet and greet with the wrestlers at 6:30 p.m. and the live wrestling is at 7:30 p.m. Tickets for this event are just $15. Proceeds help fund the Clark YMCA's Building Brighter Futures annual campaign. The LPW champion Vern Vicalo and Royce Bishop with Danica will take on WWE legend Mr. Hughes and Kellen Thomas. LPW women's title will be on the line as LPW women's champion Adira takes on Impact Wrestling knockout Alicia. Shay Cash will take on Ronnie Ribbs. Isana will face off against Ava Everett. The sensational Scott Levesque will be in a triple threat match with Nico Silva and Tyler Nitro. Sweatboy Christopher James finally gets a match against Dan Terry. And the Stampede Battle Royal featuring many stars of LPW, including, except known piece of shit Todd Supple because he won't be there. The winner will receive the Wichenden Cup, which is, about as good as the fucking Crown Jewel, and an LPW Championship title match at LPW Fall Frenzy on Saturday night, September 21st at the Clinton Mass Elks Hall. More to be announced. You can go to luckyprowrestling.com/wichenden.html because that still exists. For more information.
Geocities.com.
And that does it for the rundown for this Thursday, May 9th, 2019. You can rate us and review us, and we'll read your reviews on air. Or you can go ahead and do what Ginger's wife did and have his baby. But also go to rundownwrestling.com and make a comment, and we'll read it on air.
I think that was his mom.
But that had his baby? That's gross, dude.
No, that was commenting on the website.
What's your mom's name, buddy?
Marie.
Oh, then it was his mom. All right. You can follow us on Twitter at Rundown Wrestling.
It got really fucking
Rundown
weird.
Network.
Right?
You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/rundownwrestling. Email to show your dick pics via rundownwrestling@gmail.com. Go to instagram.com/rundownwrestling and go to youtube.com/rundownwrestling to watch us live and watch all of our archived live episodes.
And guys, I apologize. I'm going to try not to hold back as much next week. So
Okay. That's great. Leave us a voicemail at 617-863-6967. That's 61-RUNDOWN-7 if that still exists. We're on Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/rundownwrestling to become a patron, as I said. Currently, we have the first episode of Blue Fist, which is the recap of the original run of SmackDown. Which features
coming soon, more wrestling with dicks, right?
Coming soon, more Wrestling with Dicks, yep. Amongst other things. You also get, you can go over there right now and listen to, I think Making the Grades up there right now, right?
Should be.
Correct.
Which is Adam's recap of what we talk about on this show. You can also go to rundownwrestling.com to get all of our great shows, the Nitro Media Podcast, Hurry Up and Cruiserweight, Making the Grade, NXT Revisited, Twat Magic, and WrestleMania Salvation. You can listen
Yeah,
to
Twat Magic now, like the #1 show on the network. Who fucking knew?
people
I know who
fellas,
didn't know.
man.
I know who didn't know.
Jason.
Go ahead, Sal. You can listen to our friends, the Brawler, Brian Malonis, and Mike Crockett on the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing with new podcasts every Monday. Go to thewpan.com or facebook.com/thewpan. You can check out a friend, Justin Michaels, on his show Yesterland Waltz. Go to yesterlandwaltz.com or watch it on your Roku through the RNTV app or the 24/7 Retro app. You can follow our hosts on Twitter at JStewart0920, at Rockstar Troy, at WrestleMania Sal, at Realist Tommy, at Johnny Analog, at Ginger19876, at Hurry Up Cruiser, at Tia_Cyrus, I'll have to check that out, and at Smurfette Asked For It. Thanks to, I wasn't going to read the other one you put on there. Thanks to all of you for listening.
Oh my god.
Thanks to Ginger for joining us.
Thanks, guys. I'm fucking exhausted.
Thanks to Sal.
Yeah, thanks.
And thanks to Jason.
Now you're up.
Thanks to Jason for our theme song. And thanks again to Sal for all of his user service in the rundown. And thankfully, we have announced that we have extended Sal's contract with Anchor for the next 27 years. Next week,
good.
we will have the winner of the hottest female talent tournament announced. Plus, we will announce what we're doing next. So with that, Jason.
Guess that means we'll see you next Thursday.
Ginger.
Right.
Sal.
See you fucking assholes next time.
Bye-bye. This has been a production of the Rundown Wrestling Network. If you're interested in having your podcast join the Rundown Wrestling Network, please email us at rundownwrestling@gmail.com for more information. And thank you for listening.
Sal, you're up.
Nice. All right.
Holy shit.
We gotta start ending this show before midnight. Holy shit.
What do you mean? It's 11:54. It's before midnight.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, my wife's ready to fucking kill me.
Or your mom, depending on who you pass Troy.
Oh, no. My wife is ready to fucking kill me.
John, who had the Shatner-esque read? I'm assuming Ginger? No. You said you liked the Shatner-esque read. I'm not sure which one of us read it like William Shatner. I'm gonna guess it was Ginger because it was
Fucking buckle.
it was bup 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 bup.
Yeah.
Love you, Ginger.
God damn. I mean, if you gave me the APW one, I'd probably nail it because I know.
Interesting. Sal, he thinks that you sounded like Shatner.
Okay.
Hey, that's a big ass compliment right there.
Well, I've been doing the Bruce City wrestling one enough, so kind of got it down by now.
Well, thanks to John and to Mike. I guess I'm going to end the stream before Mike says something mean about Sal.
Yes, it seems to be the trend.
Sal, you're up.
Thanks, guys.
Fucking stop saying that! Does it just so I flip. I know he does, and yet I still flip. You can't fucking help it.
I was waiting for you to fucking do that, like, just every fucking time. So you're up. So you're up.
Well, John and Mike, I hope you guys enjoyed Blue Fist. I hope you are enjoying everything that we've been giving you on Patreon. We're hoping to do more, obviously. We're just trying to get some of the hosts to do stuff. You know?
I should actually be coming out with another takeover Salvation this month, so that'll be up.
So, again, we love you guys for it. You're helping us out a lot by giving us your hard-earned money, and we're doing our best to try to make you feel like that money is going, that you're getting your money's worth out of it. So, love you guys, and have a great night, you two.